Okay, right. So let me share my screen. All right, is my screen is visible? Can you see a JavaScript slide? Can you see my screen, right? Everyone can see my screen, right? Okay, fantastic. All right, so let's begin the class. Okay, I'll be not going to cover all the basics. Okay, I'll be covering the most important basics like what is variables, arrays, functions, and looping conditions and all that. All right. So let me begin. So since everyone knows about me, so I'll skip this part. All right. So basically, we need to understand what is JavaScript. JavaScript is like a brain, or we can also say like a the JavaScript is somewhere where you do the business logics. Alright, HTML, CSS just for it's like a structure, and CSS for styling. So JavaScript is where they do the business logic transfer, where how to do what to show, what to not show. Like if you use conditions, right, you can do some conditions what to do, like you can do the algorithms basically using JavaScript. So there are three ways of writing JavaScript. Okay, first is you can write JavaScript in the head of the HTML. All right, this JavaScript is pure JavaScript, where you integrate with HTML and HTML. All right, so you import it. Sorry, you can write it at the head. The second method is you can write it in the body. All right, or you can also uh, write JavaScript code in a separate file. All right, then you can import it in your HTML. For example, you see here I've created a separate file myscript.js and created some logics. And then I imported it in HTML file. All right, so no worries about that. Later I will show you how to do that. Okay. So we call this as external JavaScript. Actually, it's a good practice to separate your business logic from HTML and CSS so that it looks well organized. Okay. So usually I recommend you to write a separate JavaScript instead of writing in head or inside the body. All right. So let me show you on how to create a file and how to call it in HTML. So I'll be using Visual Studio Code. Okay, so if let's say if you're in front of computer, you to try to follow what I'm doing. So this was from our previous class. So I'm not going to use this. Let me open a new window. Okay, so let me create a new folder. So I can create a new folder and call it as mm, JS folder. Okay, okay. So this is basically a folder. Alright, so we want to create a HTML file. So maybe you call this as home.html. Then let me add the structure of the HTML. So okay, so now let's create the JavaScript file. If you have any questions, you can unmute anytime and ask me, or else you can just send in the chat. Okay, so now I'm going to call maybe you can have any name, so the basic one is script.js. It can be any names, right? It can be home.js or anything. Okay. All right. So let's try the very simple JavaScript. Okay, as in the file here just now. So I'll try to replicate this in the home inside the body. So this was inside the body just now. So we had a header, paragraph, and a button. So you can view here. So you have a header, paragraph, and a button. So I want to do something. When I click this button, I want to change the content inside here. So if you see here, this is the logic. So yeah, so you can see here, maybe you might not understand what I'm doing in JavaScript if you are very new to JavaScript. Alright, this is basically a function. No worries, later I'll explain what is function on that. For now, I'm just showing you some examples of how to call JavaScript into our HTML. Alright, so this is basically a function. Function is usually created to, if it's a repetitive logic, then we can create function. So over here, I've written my function. The function name is my function. Okay, and what it's doing is it will get element by ID, which basically this is demo, right? So you look for the ID demo. So this is ID demo. So it will get it. It will get this element. Okay, then it will change the content. So when we click this button, we are calling the function to change this ID, a demo ID. All right, is to change the content of this demo ID. So basically change paragraph change. Over here it's a paragraph, so it will change to paragraph change. So let's preview button. Before that, we haven't import the JavaScript yet. So let me import. So how to import? Basically, you can call it body style. Sorry, you can just yeah, you can use script. Sorry, you can use script similarly like this. Alright, so try script. Then you can see source. Source means which folder. So we are calling from here. So write source equals, then put dot slash, then this is the type. Right. Then you can close it. Underline. Okay. So let's try. So I click this. It has changed to paragraph change. Okay, I redo. I think someone has sent something. No. Alright. So sorry, I can't see the chat while I'm showing the screen. Okay. Sometimes I'll go and check the chat as well if you have sent anything. Alright, if possible, please try to unmute. Alright guys, so you see here, this is a paragraph. Let me change it to hi, hello, well, something like that. Okay. Now this content will be changed to a paragraph changed. See, I click it change. So let's see if I change here to something else. I have changed. Okay. Now when I click here, see it has changed. So this is how we integrate, okay, JavaScript into HTML. You can even write it here. That's why we imported, right? Okay, you can actually just instead of creating a separate file, you can also write it inside this HTML head itself. For example, like this, like 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 the sample here. All right, you can do that. For that, you can just paste it, but you should have this tag, open and closing tag. So now let's try. See, it's working. Right, it's working, right? You can also call it the head, but usually it's recommended to head or also in button, at the body, sorry. So but the best way is actually to separate business logic with the UIs. So better to create a separate file. Alright, so that's easy to manage and easy to read codes. Alright, so I'll be following this method, external JavaScript method. So far, do you understand how to integrate JavaScript with HTML? Any questions, guys? Do you understand how to integrate JavaScript into HTML? Any questions? You may ask me. You can ask now. If it's clear, you can type 666. If you have any questions, you can ask me now. So basically, we have three methods. One you can call in the body head. Second is head, and then you can also call it make a separate file, external JavaScript. All right, fantastic. So let's move to this next part. So you can see here. So now I'm going to explain what is variable and constant. Okay, see guys, let's say if you are okay, let okay variable. Okay, let me explain what is variable and constant. It's very easy to understand. Is variable means something like a storage box. Okay, like this storage is somewhere you like this container you can store something, right? So variable is some it's like a storage box where you can store something, but only one item. Unlike this over here, they showed like you can put many items, but it's like but actually variable can only store one item. Basically a memory, a small bit of memory, okay, allocated to store some values. All right. Constant is actually a container as well, similar like variable, but then the only difference is constant is once you declare this constant is this, for example, this constant is equals to one, then it is fixed, it's always one. But in variable you can always change, you can mutate the data. Alright, so that's the only difference. That is why I showed this container. Okay, because in this container you can it's dedicated for this toy. You can't put a ball inside. Okay, obviously you can put, but it'll be like forcing to put now. Alright, because this container is made to store this dedicated toy. Alright, but this container you can put various types of toy. Alright, that's the only difference. So how to declare a variable or constant? Let's see. Okay, variable. Okay, so there are two ways of writing variables, which is using var and let. But I would always recommend to use let. That's the modern way of writing variables. Alright, so and this is constant. Constant is fixed. Okay, let me show you. So over here in this function, okay, I'm going to create a let. Let's say this is I want to show some words. Keyword. Maybe I could name. I want to show my name. Alright, so let I'm storing my name now inside this variable. So this is my name. So yeah, so see, I've stored, I've created a variable called name. Name, this is basically a label for this variable. Okay, assume that this is a box, right? This box has a label, right? Okay, so same here. I've created a box and I labeled it as name. Okay, inside the box I put my name. Alright, usually you can put any names here. You can put any names, ABC or whatever, but usually we practice to use uh, variable name which is related to what you are storing now, so that when we read the code you can understand, even others can understand. Okay, so I call it as name, and then instead of this word maybe I call this variable. So now when I click this, it shows my name. So can you see? I'm using the variable. Instead of writing this here again and again, okay, maybe this is a very simple logic. Alright. So instead of writing a long this string again and again, we can just put it inside this variable name. Then you can call it whenever you want. Alright, so that's the purpose of this variable. Sometimes when you want to do some logics or you want to do some calculation and so on, variable will be very useful instead of always your hard coding the values. Okay, so what is constant? Constant is fixed, so maybe I put constant. Maybe usually our IC number will be constant, right? So you say I'm not gonna put my actual IC number, but just okay, maybe I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lah, something like that. Okay, so you can see that. So I'm calling constant now. So you may wonder why I put this code here, but not in the NRC. Okay, this is a string. Okay, this is a string type. String type means like words lah. Okay, alphabets. Even you can put numbers inside this, but this is type data type string. Okay, you can explore about data types later. Alright, so this is numbers or integers. So usually for integers this is not required lah. Alright, if you Want to do calculations, okay, you want to add a plus b, it should be in integer, float, or something like that data type. It can't be in string. If string means it cannot understand whether, okay, you cannot basically if string means it assumes that some sort of like symbols or something like that. The computer will assume like some sort of like symbols. So even though you put a number, okay, let's say you want to put a number one, and then but you put it codes. So if you want to add with number three, it can't understand. So it will be like assuming like you are adding number three with a symbol. Okay, it's not possible. Alright, so that is why you should always make sure when you're doing some calculation using integer type. No? Alright, so we explore more about data types later. Alright, for now we focus on our variables. Right, so you see, now let's try. Let's say if I want to change this NRIC type. Okay, if you want to reuse again, no need to put this constant. And this is only for the first time when you declare the variable names. Alright, so after that you want to reuse it, just call this variable name enough. Alright, then you put equal and change the uh, uh, the the value inside. So maybe this time I will put 09876. Okay, see if it's showing an error because, okay, maybe you see here, actually there's an error. Alright, because see I can't, there's actually a problem there. There's an error, that is why it's not working, because you can't change a constant. Let's say if I remove this, you see, it will be working. Alright, because a constant is fixed. Once you declare it as this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 6, then it's fixed forever. You can't change it. But let's try for the name. Okay, maybe I put something else. Maybe I put hello, hi. Okay, you see when I type, oh, I have to reload. Right, oh, I haven't changed. Alright, so I click here, see, it is changing. You can mutate, which means you can change the value inside the variable, but not in constants. Okay, you can also ask me, uh, should the data type always remain the same? If this is a string, this should be also a string. I can actually change the number, shouldn't be a problem. So let's say if I put, okay, maybe 890, see? You can put any data type. Okay, that's a specialty in JavaScript now, unless you use TypeScript. In TypeScript, the data type will be initialized in the beginning. So if name means string, if you already initialize as a string, then it always should be a string in TypeScript. But in JavaScript, it's very flexible. You can change it to any data types. It has its pros and cons now. All right. So all right. So let's move to the next part. You may also wonder what is war. War is actually, I think, war is basically similar like let, just that it's very, there's a slight different, but the modern way of declaring variables in JavaScript is using let. Alright, you can also use war, shouldn't be a problem. Alright, and you should also remember how to name the variables. Okay, so there are certain rules to be followed. When you're naming a variable, you should only contain letters, digits, underscore, and dollar symbols. By heart, you should remember these rules. Okay, and also, this variable is case sensitive. Case sensitive means you see here the example my name. Okay, this N is capital letter and the second one my name is not no capital letters. Okay, but JavaScript will assume that this is a different container and this is one is a different container. It won't assume as both same, even though just one capital letter is different. Okay, you should remember that even though the capital letter is the same name, same thing, but just the N is capitalized here, it will assume as different container. And also you should remember that variables cannot start with a digit. And also you cannot start, variable names cannot have special symbols like dash, this happen, and then this asterisk and this percentage symbol. And plus you cannot use reserved keywords. Okay, like just now, this let and while is for variables, right? You cannot use all these reserved keywords. Okay, this is all like reserved keywords. You can You can actually Google it, what is reserved keywords, and you can see all the lists. Okay, but usually this is usually when you type like you want to declare let and then you want to put a variable name as let, see, it won't allow you to show error. Okay, you can use this reserved word even if you want to put var, you cannot. Okay, so let's say if you want to name like name one, it's possible because you can contain letters, digits. Okay, what will happen if you put one at the front? Is it accepted? No. Should remember that variable names cannot start with a digit. Okay, but you can start with a underscore and also dollars. Okay, remember that variable names can only have letters, digits, underscore, or dollar symbol, but you cannot start with digits. That's all. All other symbols are not allowed. And also reserve keywords. Okay, any questions on this? Any questions, guys? Is it clear? If clear, come on, guys. You can send thumbs up. Okay, you can send thumbs up or six or say okay, clear, something. Come on, so that I understand that somebody is there listening to me. Okay, fantastic. Okay, thank you. ADB. Not sure what's your name. Sorry. All right. So let's move to the next part. Okay, if you have time, we do this exercise later. But for now, let's try to understand all the basics. Okay, array is like this box. Okay, just now in variable, we can only store one item. But in arrays, okay, similar like a similar like a variable, but you can store a lot of items in single variable. So that is what is called as arrays. So you can see that's a huge container. All right, inside that we have more like a tiny boxes to store variables. Okay, let's see how to declare variable. So this is how you declare variable. Okay, you can use constant, you can also use let, shouldn't be a problem. If you use constant, then the array will be fixed. Lah. If you use let, then the array can you can mutate the array. Alright. So let's try to develop this array. Maybe. Alright. Okay, so now I want to create a variable called let cast. Then you can sorry. For variables you should use this box. Okay, this box bracket, and then maybe I want to put a car's name. So I put Volvo. So names are strings. Okay, string as aside. Then I can put maybe events. Then maybe okay Proton. All right. Then I can call okay, this cars here, but you can't call an array just like that. You can see what will happen. Okay, it will show all these like it's not really a very good way of calling the arena, alright, unless you just want to test it once inside it. So usually we call using a loop method, or you can also call it one by one like this. You can put zero, you can get although then you can put one, then you can put two. Okay, you may wonder what is this 1012. Okay, all right, this inside this variable we have like this is the label for the big container, right? Like that's now this is a big container and we have a label here cast, and then each of this container has a label as well, but we already fixed it by default, which is 0 1 2 sorry 0 1 2 3 4. So it always starts from 0. So this is 0 and like more like an address, you can see it as like an address as well. 0 1 and 2. So if you have to call this, you have to put cast, then call this name of this array, then put a box, then put this put a number. If you want to call the first item, put 0. If you want to call the second item, put 1. Okay, if you want to call the last one, you can put 3. Alright, sorry, there's no 3, 0 1 2, so 2. Okay, so that's how we put that's how we do cast. Okay, you may wonder, can we put different data types. Yes, you can. For example, you put a tree. That's the plus point of JavaScript. So if you want to call number one, see, you can put. It still works. Shouldn't be a problem. Alright, this is array. Alright, next one is operators. Okay, I'm not really focusing on operators because it's a very, maths, right? So this is maths addition, this is subtraction, multiplication, exponential, division, modulus. Modulus means the division, the remainder. When you divide, if you have a remainder, that's the answer will be shown. Alright, so this is increment and decrement. Okay, you can explore this more later, but I'm not going to focus on that now. Okay, so we move to, okay, I'd like to introduce this. In maths, usually equal means we just put this equal, right? That means this we assume that these two are same. No, this is more like a initialization. Okay, basically we put this from your right side, we put whatever in the right side inside the left hand side, like a container, putting something into this container. Okay, if you want to check equality, you should put double equal. For example, I want to check whether it's cars. Okay, let's say I want to check number one. Number one means three, right? Okay, I want to check whether this is equals to three. So I put four now. So the answer will be false because this cars is actually not equals to four, right? This is three. So you see, the equality is wrong. Basically, the answer is wrong. Cars one is not equals to four, right? So it will give false. So this is how you check the equality. If you put three, if you put three, it will also check together with the data type. It will check this is three and this is also three. Then it will also check whether this is string, this is integer, right? So it will also check whether this is also integer. So both the data type and also the value should be the same. If you put three equals, so this is also false. If I put three, it will be true. But what happens if I make it as a string? I see it is false. Even the tree, this is also tree, but it is false when you use tree equal symbols because it will also check for the data types. So it should be the same data type. But when you have only double equals, it's not necessary. See, when I make it as a string, you see this is a string in string data type, but number three, and this is also string, but it is true. Alright, that's the only difference between double equal and triple equal. Alright, so you see here, this is equal to and this triple equals equal value and equal type. If you want to check whether it's not equal, then you put this punctuation mark at the front. So see here, if I put like this punctuation mark at the front, then basically this cast is equal to 3, right? So, but we are checking whether this is not equal to 3. If this is not equal to 3, then it will show true. But now the answer will be false because it is equals to 3. But this punctuation mark says not equal. So we are checking that whether the value in cast 1 is not equals to 3. So since this answer is true, so it will become false. Let's say if I put 4, then it will be true. Because cast 1 is not equals to 4. So that is true, right? Not equals to 4. Okay. So double punctuation mark in double equal is basically the same concept as the equal type, but it will be other way opposite. And this is greater than, this is how we put greater than, less than, not less than equals to, oh sorry, more than equals to, less than equals to, then ternary operators. Ternary operators. Okay, later we learn condition, I'll explain about ternary. Alright. Then okay, this is logical symbol. Logical symbol means, for example, we can say that whether this cars, okay, let me remove this, make a variable num equals, we will put as 5. Okay, so I want to check whether this num is more than 0 and, okay, we are using two conditions here. We are checking that whether this num is more than 0 and also we are checking that whether this num is less than maybe 10. So basically we are checking that whether this num variable is within 0 to 10, right? Alright, so the number is 5, so the answer will be true. What will happen if I change to 20? It will be false because it is not within, it is not more than 0. It is more than 0. That is true. Okay, because it's 20, right? So this is more than 0, but this is not less than 10. 20 is more than 10, right? So one of this condition is false. See, this is true and this is false, so the output will be false. So when you use AND condition, sorry, AND operator, both, if either one is false, the output will be false. You should remember this truth table. Okay, so only when, very easy way to remember is only when both are true or all are true, the output will be true for an operator. So let's say it's OR. We use this. Let's say it's a OR. Then you see, now it's true. For OR, it's other way around. If either one is true, then it will automatically be true. You see, it is true, true, output is true. True, false, still true. False, true, still true. When only when both are false, it will be false. Okay? And this punctuation mark is basically saying that it will reverse it. So if it's true, it will become false. If it's false, it will become true. Just saying that it will reverse. That is why when you check the sound the equal symbol, when you put the punctuation mark, it became other way around. Alright. So the next part is function. So basically over here we are doing a function. So let me recreate it. Okay, let me go to the top. Let's say if you want to create a function saying that you want to add, saying that you want to display something. Function is usually like a block of codes. Uh, you can say it's a block of code, like a set of instructions to do a specific task. So you can use the code. Once, for example, you see, as a developer, you should always find your easiest way now. Okay, or you can also say the developers don't want to write a lot of codes. Okay, we try to reduce as much as we can. Only then the performance also will be very good and easy to read the code and also maintain the code. Alright, so that is why when the code is repetitive, we can try to do like all these functions. We can try to create all these functions. Okay, someone has sent something. No, okay. Okay, so for example, you want to do like addition. Okay, the logic will remain same for all types of addition, right? Let's say if you're using addition logic, okay, let's say you're adding a plus b, okay, you're doing that logic, right? So you might be repeating that in maybe in three or four files. So why not we just create a function and then call it whenever we want instead of doing the logic. By adding a plus b is very simple, just one line should be fine. But how about a logic? Like if, for example, if you have to find the largest number in an array or a smallest number in an array, anagram, words, or any other like those kind of logics, then you need to create a function. You can just do once, then you can call it anytime. So let's see. I want to show my name. So I call a function, and then this necessary to tell that this is the function. Okay, then we give a name for the function. Okay, call my name. Then curly bracket. Then this time the same method like just now. Alright. So basically, I'm calling the element here. So I'm calling this paragraph element and I'm going to change the content here. So I'm saying that this is my, see, let's run this. Oh, I have to change this. See, this on click button. So I change. So when I click this, it will change to my name. You may wonder what is this on click. Okay, if you have a button, if you want to do some logics, when you want to do something, when you click this button, then you put this on click equals to, then you can call a function from this JavaScript. So it will do something. Okay, so I call this my name and that's called. Alright, So this function is very simple, just to display like more like a static. Okay, there are a few other types of function. First is function with parameters, which means we need to give some input for this function so that it can do something. For example, you want to do addition. If you want to do addition, we need two numbers, right? Only then you can do some calculation and give an answer. So let's say I have a parameter, maybe a and then b. Okay, this is what we call as parameters. Huh? Okay, so this a, okay, you want to do calculation addition. So okay, I do a separate function. So I call function, maybe I put addition. I think this is, okay, maybe I put add now, add number. Okay, then I want to have two parameters a and b. So the addition, how we do addition? So let do addition a plus b. So maybe I store the answer in a variable. So let answer equals a plus b. Okay, then I want to show this answer here. So I can copy this here and then I call my variable answer. Now I can call this function and I click this button so I can put it here. But I need to give some values inside, maybe 3 and 2. Now you can see that I'm getting 5. So you see that this is like a dummy, like a dummy variables. Okay, then we assume that when we receive something here in this float place, what we gonna do? So we will be adding these two and then putting inside this variable, then we display. Okay, so more like a template. We prepare the JavaScript, then we give a value now. So this 3 will be at A and 2 will be here B. So if you want to check, yes, we can check too. I put A, see, I'm getting 3. And I put B here. See, I'm getting 2. So where I'm getting it from? From here. Alright. So this is function with parameters. And there's another function, returning function. Okay, returning means it's not just a display. We should it will return some values and then we should receive it here. Alright, so how I can show is wondering how I can show. Uh, for example, okay, for example, I can do it this way. I want to show when I call my name. Okay, maybe I want to do another function. Calculate my age. Okay, calculate age. Okay, so to calculate age, we need the year we born, right? So maybe I put year born here as my parameter. Alright, then alright, how to calculate the age? So usually age is let age equals to the current year is 2024, right? Minus by the born year, so we can get our age. So just now I just displayed. Now I want to return. So when you call this function, it will return some values. So you have to store somewhere, or you should display it. Okay, maybe you can do this return. Okay, so I want to call my age. So maybe when I call my name, I want to show my age. So instead of call 7, then comma here. Okay, so I just want to call when I call my name, I want to show my age. Okay, so what I need to do is calculate age. Then I put maybe okay 2000. So you can see that when I call this function, when I call this function, it will you want to call this function by clicking this button, okay, this on click. What it will do, it will change the content, okay, but the content will be the answer of this function because this is returning something, right? So this will be the answer. So you see, you can also store this variable in store this answer in a variable, maybe okay, maybe it, you can put it here. Then you can just call this variable. So which means you get something from this function, from this returning function, then you store it inside this h variable, then you call this. See, 24. You can also do some logic. Okay, this is where we do this condition. Okay, I'll show you some example. Condition is basically like if this scenario happens, what you want to do? If this happens, what you want to do? Something like that. So we decide the flow of execution based on different condition. Like just now I showed you, right? So I'm like if the number is more than 0 and this number is less than 10, what we do? If the condition true, what we do? If the condition is false, what we do? Something like that. Okay, so there are two types of conditions basically. The most common one is if else. Okay, so this if condition, we put if this condition is true, we do something. If else means if the condition true, we do this, else we will do something else. No worries, later I'll show you some examples. And this if as if means we act like if this condition is true, we execute this, else if this is false, then it will check the second condition whether this is correct or not. Even if this is also false, then it will show this else. Okay, so there are three types of if conditions: if else, and if as if. And finally, switch statement. Okay, the switch statement is basically like this. Let's say you don't really put like a condition, but usually we check whether this value is equals to what, this case or what, something like that. You know what is later I'll show you all this, like some I'll show you these examples. So first, okay, let's come here. So let's say we can also do the condition in here. Okay, so we can use if as for now. Okay, see here, if we calculate the age, if the age is, maybe we can put if the age is more than 18. Okay, age is more than 18, then we can say that, okay, actually put a curly bracket here. Alright, then we can change the content as, we can say they are adult. Okay, adult. Okay, else if this is just for if. Okay, we have three types of if conditions, right? So the first one says if age is more than 18, then we show adult. So you see the condition is true, right? Because when they are born in 2000, you see they calculate and then we get 24. So age is more, 24 is more than 18, right? True. So it will show this. What will happen if I put maybe 2010? So the answer will be 14, less than 18, right? So see, nothing happens. So it's like something like if let's say the user doesn't know about the codes and all that, he will be like wondering that whether this button is working. So we can put as if this is false, then we say that is below age or something like that. Just example. You can say that see below age. So if the condition is false, then it will show this is the second type. We can also do this if instead of writing this else, we can there's a third type, right? If else if. So we can say that we need to put a condition here. Okay, so we have put this age is more than maybe 50, then not 50, sorry, the age is more than maybe you can more than 12, then we can say he's a teenager, something like a teen, yeah, teen. Okay, then if it's not both, then we can say maybe maybe below H, or maybe we can say error, something like that. Okay, anything. If the both condition is not true, then this will be shown. See, now the answer is teen because this is 2010. When he's born at 2010, he's 14 years old, right? So we check the age, whether it's more than 18, false. So if we move to the second one, whether this age is now more than 12 is true, then it will show this thing. What will happen if I put 12 here and this is 18? Okay, so now what will happen? It will show adult because the first condition itself true. So it will just show this and then skip. Okay, it will not execute any other logics here. Even though, let's say if it's more than 18, you see if I put like maybe 2000, now the answer is 24, right? It will show adult, this one, because the first condition itself is true. So it does, if in okay the only the how it works is that if the first condition is true, it will just get into the logics, okay, and then it will not execute the other. It won't even check this one. Even though this is correct, it won't execute. It will check this, this is correct, and then run execute this. It will execute this code, then it will exit the whole condition. Then we move to the second part. Okay, so that's how it runs. So make sure when you're using all this if else, you do the condition properly when you especially when you're doing the language. Alright, you see here fine. Okay, so next one is switch. Okay, we are running out of we have very less time. So what I will do, I will show W3 schools maybe for the switch skills. Oh the switch is very easy actually compared actually both are easy if you really understand the concepts. By the way, if any questions so far, you can ask me. Yes, if this condition. Yeah. Any condition and any questions, guys? Any questions so far? Do you answer all the basics? And do you need any more examples? Feel free to ask. If it's all good, you can type 686. Maybe come on. Okay, I can use the switch case. Alright, looks good. Alright, so now I'm going to show you the switch case here. Alright, so let's create a new function. Function. Then maybe we say okay, the show the okay. Okay, put the logic here. Then this I put so basically what it does is that it will get usually we assume that 0 means Sunday, 1 means Monday, 2 means Tuesday. Okay. So what you will get? You will get some values like 0, 1, 2, 3, any numbers here between 0 to 6. Okay. Then we will check whether it's 0 or 1 or 2 or 3. If it's 3, then it will show Wednesday. If it's 1, it will show Monday, something like that. Okay, that's how it goes. Switch. We usually don't put like more than 10 in switch cases. Usually for that we use if. For switch we check, just check. Alright, so you see here if I call this show day here, show day, then I put 1. So if this is 1, then answer should be Monday, right? So see, 1. Can we try? So something is wrong. We check 1. Show day. Oh yeah, yeah. So what I will do is we will put this as okay. So see, I think this shows Monday. What will happen if I put number three, maybe? I put three, then it will show Wednesday. Alright, so it will check whether this is equals to what in this case. Okay, then it will display it. Alright, for the example, okay, now you can see there's a break. Break means usually in just now for if condition, if this is true, then it will only execute this part. It won't care. It don't doesn't matter whether this is also true or not. Okay, it will just execute the first true. If this is true, then it will just execute. Only if this is false, it will go for the next and will check the next condition. Okay, but in switch case, it isn't like that. If I remove this break, let's say now is Wednesday, right? So if I remove this break, it will also show Thursday. See, see, it will show Thursday. Since this is overwriting, so it's just replace Wednesday with Thursday. So basically, you see that what is happening is this is true, right? We only put three here, so this is also this is true. So it will put Wednesday into this variable day, and then it will also execute case 4. Once this is true, then it will execute next till it sees the break. So that is why always in the switch case we always put this break after each case so that it will only execute this part, it won't move to the next part. Alright, so that's the reason why we use break. So basically you break the execution. But for if condition it's not necessary, you will just execute the first one. Okay, any questions guys? Alright, so this is loop. Alright, so in looping we have while loop, do while loop, and for loop. Okay, this is the last part. So what I will do is, okay, looping is basically what is that? Okay, first let me explain what is looping. Loop is basically it to execute the same lines repeatedly for few, certain number of times. Okay, let's say if you want to execute certain things for 5 times. So you want to we use the same logic, but then we repeat it for specific number of times. So that is looping. So there are three types of loops: while loop, do while loop, and for loop. So while loop is basically it checks the condition. If it's true, then it will execute the logic. Okay, so it will execute the it will do the looping till it becomes false. Okay, so for example here you can see this while loop. Okay, this is while loop. So for example, you can see here since we are running up, it's already 9:30. That is why I'm just showing the examples in WT school. I'm explaining it. Or if you have questions, you can ask me. Alright. So you see here in this is basically the logic. Right, so I just copy, no problem. And you can see better in this VS Code. Alright, so maybe I create another function. Function, this is what? No, this is not a function. Okay, I just put. Okay, what I do, I just put as okay, while this is reserved word, so you can't use while, so I just put while. So then I call this to call this function. Okay. So you see what I'm doing is that I created a variable, but this is empty variable. Okay. So what I'm doing is I have another variable I, which is equals to 0. So now I'm checking this while loop. Okay, I'm checking the condition whether this 0 is less than 10. It is less than 10, right? So this is true. So it will add these values into these tags. So basically what it is doing is that it is adding this string with the number I. So the I value was 0, right? So it will display here the number is 0. Then it will add 1. This plus plus symbol is basically I equals to I plus 1. That's all. Basically adding 1 to the I. So 0 plus 1 will become 1, right? Now it will recheck that this 1 is less than 10. True, right? So then again, it will do this logic. Then it will add another 1 to the I. So it will become 2. So it will run till 10. When it becomes 10, then it will check whether this 10 is less than. Now that when it becomes 10, when the I becomes 10, it will check. Okay, 10 is less than 10. So that is false, right? Then it will move to the, what do you call it? It will just skip this loop. So let me, alright. So you can see here that is number 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then when it comes 10, 10 is less than 10. Then this is false, right? Then it will move to this line, then it displays here. So if I also want to show number 10 here, then you just put equals. So now it will also show 10 because 10 is less than equals to 10. That is true, right? So it will also show 10. Then after that, when it becomes 11, it becomes false. So it skips to the next line. Alright. Let's say if I want to add 1, I don't want to show this 0. So what I can do is I can do this one at the front instead. So when I put something like that, so it will only show 1 to 10. See? Number 1. So what is happening is 0, 0 is less than 10, true, right? So it will add 1 here. Only then it is inserting into this variable. So that is why it's showing 1. Okay? So this is how while works. Do while. So let's check do while. Okay, okay. Do while is here. Okay, let me briefly explain. Do while is similar like while loop, just that. Okay, just that it always will run the first execution. Only then it checks. You see, doesn't matter for just like just now. You see here, it checks the condition first. Only then it executes the logic. But do while will execute the logic first. Only then it will check the condition whether to repeat or not. Okay, so the first execution will be always, uh, it will always run the first execution. So you see here, for example, if I make it as do one, okay, if I change it to do one, okay, this is actually comment. Comment means if you make it as a comment, then it is like not a function and all, no function at all, just like a note for the developers. Okay, so it's more like nothing like this. Okay, so you see here when I put do while, okay, the first execution will always be executed. So you see here, executed like similar like just now, right? So what if I put 11 here? 11 is this condition is false, right? 11 is less than 10, false, right? So obviously we cannot run this condition if it is just while loop. Since this is do while, even though this condition is false, the first one will be executed. See, for the first time the logic will run. Only then it will check whether to repeat or not. Okay, that's the difference between while loop and do while. While loop will check the condition first, only then it executes, but do while is other way around. Okay, when it comes to for loop, this is the most using people nowadays just use for loop instead of what do you call that? Do while loop and while loop. Okay, so you see here, let me show this instead. Just sorry. So just now I mentioned, right, in arrays we always use this looping to execute one by one. So this what it's doing. That's what they're doing. So this is an array. Okay, we have all these values inside the array. All right. So like just now, we want to show uh, this array's values here. All right. So in for loop, we just now we remember that we declare this I outside here. All right. After this over here. Sorry, after this, right, after the text over here, but this time this thing is declared inside the bracket itself for loop. Then you do the condition. After that you do this they call it as like, and you want to control this variable whether to add. Just now in while loop everything was separate, so was separated. Okay, you see here, just now they initialized it outside, then they did the condition, then they did this inside. So, but in for loop, everything is written in the same line. That's it. Very simple. It's similar like while loop, but just that they make it easier by writing everything in one straight line. Alright, so see, when I run, it shows one by one. So it looks for 0, then looks to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, any questions, guys? Any questions? So basically follow similar like while loop, just then the way they write this. That's all. That's the only difference. Okay, any other questions? So far we have covered the basics already, which is looping, conditions, then we covered the functions, variables, the truth tables, basically the operators, then arrays. Okay, so any questions? Any questions? So if you feel that everything is clear, then you can type 333. Okay, 333 means showing good. Okay, thank you so much, Eddie, for the reply. All right, thanks, Sean. All right, so that's all for today. Actually, if you have any question, you can ask me now, or else we can end this session now. All right. So I hope everyone able to understand well, especially these JavaScript basics. In next JavaScript class, what I will be doing is I'll be doing a simple project. Okay. So we'll be using all this knowledge in that project on how to apply all this logic all together. Okay. That's the main objective. So most probably we'll be doing projects like maybe finding the big numbers or checking whether the word is anagram, something like that. Alright. So if it looks like no questions, if no questions, then I think I'll pass to Sue. Okay, Sue.
Right. So, no